Welcome to my podcast, Why Get Wasted? Innovative Solutions to Climate Change. I'm so excited you found us. In this podcast, I'll be talking with really interesting people who've come up with innovative solutions for tackling climate change. There's so much fear and discouragement now, and I know we can all feel helpless to do anything about what we see and know is happening with our planet. But people are creative and resilient, and they can be really smart, and often in times of crisis, really step up to the plate. So I wanted to draw attention and talk further to some people who've come up with their own way to help all of us fight for our planet. And now a little bit about me. My name is Liz Entin, and I'm the founder of Why Get Wasted. We offer customized plans for businesses and events, both personal and professional, to help them be more climate friendly and sustainable. We've worked with everything from festivals and concerts to fashion shows, and even your kid's birthday party or your own dinner party. While doing this, I've just met some really inspiring people. And now I want to share their stories, the companies they've created, and the solutions they've come up with all of you. We can all work together to fix this. And now I hope you enjoy this episode of Why Get Wasted? Innovative Solutions to Climate Change. Hey everyone, today I am speaking with Patricia Davis from Silver Needle and Thread. Welcome, Patricia.
Hi, Liz. How are you?
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I am great.
So, do you want to tell us a little bit about yourself and about Silver Needle and Thread?
Absolutely, my pleasure. First of all, I would like to say thank you so much for having me on your show. It's an honor, and I'm very excited to talk to you. So I am the founder of Silver Needle and Thread, and within Silver Needle and Thread, there's two divisions. One is the fashion side, and one is the interior design side. And Silver Needle and Thread is all about custom. It's all about organic fiber textiles, natural, the real stuff, the real deal, and sustainability.
So what inspired you to start Silver Needle and Thread?
You know, I have 48 years background experience being in the fashion industry, but I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was 12 years old, believe it or not. I started a company called Tag Enterprises, and I was sewing wedding dresses and fashion. And from there, over the years and life happening and all these other things, I've been able to create 7 companies. And Silver Needle and Thread, with the 2 divisions, is my latest creation. So being inspired is coming from me actually being a farm girl. So I was raised on a farm, grew up playing outside, which is a novelty thing now because a lot of kids don't play outside. But connecting with the land and all that beautiful stuff, it gave me a sense of appreciation for things being natural, things being sustainable. My father was a steward of the land, so that's where all that came from.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in a small town right outside of Oxford, Mississippi, which is called Abbeville. And actually, I have 3 degrees from the University of Mississippi, which is Ole Miss. And my family's farm is about, less than 8 miles from the university. So it's home.
So what made you specifically start to notice the sustainability issues? I guess we'll first start Well, first I should ask, do you use the same fabrics in your fashion brand and the homeware brand?
Some of them, yes, but for the most part, no, because fashion fabric is completely different from interior design fabric. When you talk about the weight, the suitability for all the different applications, they're going to be two different fibers. So in interior design, you're talking more from a textile standpoint of those fabrics being of a higher weight. So the ounces of that fabric is going to be, 17-ounce weight, 19-ounce weight, which is the heavier textiles that you need to create the applications of doing furniture and everything else in interior design.
And so what got you into sustainability in the first place and deciding to start a sustainable company?
So it's always been in my blood. It's all I know. And, growing up, getting a wonderful education, being able to go to Ole Miss and have all my degrees, I started to see things and understand how we were trending as a society, the consumerism side of what we were doing. And we as a society, we have to be careful of what we ask for. I am later in my years, so I've seen a lot of things. I've seen a lot of trends, and you start to notice things. So when we say in fashion, when we got to that phase of starting to say, oh, I'm a career woman and I really don't have time to iron my husband's shirts. And we started asking for fibers that you didn't have to iron. You have to be careful what you're asking for, because those fibers are loaded with chemicals like formaldehyde. And those things are related directly to most of the illnesses that we know in our American society. So noting all those things and seeing how things were trending, based upon my background, based upon my education, it's like, okay, let me step outside the box. Let me be a pioneer, and I'm going to be a leader in the industry. I went through a phase of calling out major corporations. There's so much greenwashing going on in this industry. The fashion industry itself, fabrics, textiles, it is the second largest polluter on the planet. And most people don't even realize that,
Textiles, in what way, in terms of, give some examples?
Well, from creation to discard. When you talk about fast fashion, and now what I'm talking about is fast disposable furniture with the interior design side of it, is the word fast means a certain thing, and it's not good. So you're dealing with synthetic fibers, you're dealing with polyester, rayon, nylon, acrylic. All of those fibers are unnatural to begin with. They are man-made, and most people don't realize that they're created from a bucket of crude oil. So we are actually wearing, for fashion, crude oil on our bodies. Along with that comes the simple fact that we're not supposed to be clothing crude oil. Our bodies can't detox naturally. We can't sweat and do all the things to eliminate those toxins from our bodies. So there's so many different aspects that go into the health side of it, as well as going into the discard side of it. When you discard polyester clothing and furniture and all these things that are made out of it, there are statistics showing that it could take up to 1,000 years for that stuff to break down. So what are we doing here? We're piling up things in landfills, and we're very apt and attuned to what landfill waste is and how it's affecting us from an environmental standpoint as well as a climate change standpoint.
So it's hurting us all around.
It is
Our health
all
and
around.
our individual health from the chemicals and the fabrics, that the effect they have in landfills and
Everything.
water and nature. Wow.
Mhm.
And wow. And so this applies both to homewares and to clothing
Yes,
that we wear.
yes,
Wow.
it does. Because the chemicals that are in your clothes, you know, I'm sure you've heard or in passing that the statistics for making a simple t-shirt, it could contain up to 8,000 chemicals just to make a simple t-shirt. And most people don't realize. Well, you want to magnify that to make a simple chair. You can magnify those chemicals times 2, times 3. And these are things that are in our home every day. We're surrounded by them. We are in a small environment. So the inside air of your home is 5 times more toxic than the outside air due to the releasing of all those chemicals. Most noticeably, you're talking about VOCs, which are volatile organic compounds. And that VOC could mean that literally you're being exposed to 20, 30,000 chemicals. You
And
are
this is in
breathing.
our clothing. And then in terms of home, what would this be? This would be like couches and blankets and pillows and all of that.
Exactly. Your sofa, your chairs, your bedding. Your bedroom is the most important place in your home because how much time do you spend sleeping? And when our body goes into the sleep mode, our body defenses go down, right? So if we're breathing in those chemicals on a regular basis, our body is not geared up because we are in delta sleep mode to not be able to fight those chemical effects. So that's why when we do interior design and we're doing whole house projects, we want to start with the bedrooms because that's where we're going to have the most impact. You're sleeping on synthetic foam mattresses that are made from crude oil. You're sleeping on the bedding, and a lot of homes nowadays.
What is Cooterol that you said the mattress is made from? What is that word? What is that word?
That's crude oil.
Crude oil. Okay. And
oil.
crude oil.
Yes.
And what exactly is crude oil?
It is what your gas and things are made out of to run our cars. It's fossil fuel. It is the rawest form of fossil fuels. So when oil and gas is being shipped over to the United States, it is shipped over in the form of crude oil. And then it's being refined into all of these products.
In our homes,
In our homes.
clothing.
Exactly.
Wow, that sounds terrible for us. And
it's a lot to know.
And you also, I mean, you touched on fast fashion. I think most of us have heard of what fast fashion is. That'd be like H&M. You wear a piece of clothing for a very short amount of time, sometimes only a few months, and then toss it.
Mm-hmm.
What is fast homewares? Because as far as I understood, people keep their homewares for long periods of time.
Absolutely not. That is
no. Okay, so explain to me what's going on with that.
Well, fast disposable furniture nowadays is actually created with what's called an opulence date, meaning it doesn't matter how you use that furniture, the wear and tear on it, that furniture is designed to break. Just like your fashion is designed to break. Buttons are going to fall off, seams are going to come undone. And therefore, you have to throw that piece of furniture away. Fast disposable furniture.
And it's not fixable.
It is not like real wood furniture, where you can take screws and put in it, or you can put it back together using dowels in all of the carpenter different types of techniques. The furniture itself is not made from real wood. It's made from wood that has been ground up into chips and glued back together. So it's basically particle boards. And when that wood starts to come apart, there's nothing you can do to fix it. It has to go to the landfill. And we see it every day. So when you have a furniture, a big box furniture store, right? And you've seen the ads everywhere that says financing for 5 years. Well, there's a reason behind that. And you know what it is? Because within 5 years, that brand new sofa you just bought is going to fall apart. And you will have to go right back to that furniture store to purchase another sofa.
That seems terrible. So I didn't even, I mean, I guess I'd heard of cheap furniture, obviously, and know that exists. I guess I just always thought of it as kind of not as long lasting, not as good, but not to that level where it's just every few years you just throw it into the landfill and then you go buy it down to a new table, a new bed. You just all that, a bed, even a table would all just go into a landfill. And it's not recyclable. It's not donatable.
There's no program set up for that because the item itself is so inferior that what can you do if you've taken wood to begin with and you put it in a grinder and ground it up and used these very toxic adhesives to glue it back together to make these items. When it falls apart, what can you do with it? It has to go to the landfill. And landfills all around this nation are piling up. One of the things that we do, we ask people, are you aware of the landfills within your city? Do you know how many landfills are within your neighborhood? A huge part of what we do is education. And here in Jacksonville, Florida, we are the largest landmass city in the United States. And you would be surprised as to how many landfills there are in Jacksonville, Florida. But most important, how many landfills there were in Jacksonville, Florida, that now has neighborhoods built on top of them.
Well, how many landfills are there now? I'm scared to even know.
So Jacksonville, Florida is made up of about 7 counties, and it's really huge. And when we are talking to our clients and asking that question, we actually do specific areas. So within the Duval County area, there are over 7 landfills. And you're talking about landfills where you're talking, some of these landfills are 600 acres.